Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in this video I will provide complete detail about pod disruption budget in Kubernetes. So there are two types of disruption, voluntary disruption and involuntary disruption. Before discuss disruption, let's understand pod do not disappear until someone, person or a controller destroy them, or there is a unavoidable hardware or system software error. So now let's discuss about the involuntary disruption. So in the involuntary disruption, there are a certain example physical hardware failure, admin mistake, let's say by default admin delete the cluster, cloud provider failure, or resource constraint, for example memory and CPU. So now let's discuss about the voluntary disruption. This include both action initiated by application owner or cluster admin. Now typically application owner action include deleting the pod or other controller that manage a pod. Second, updating a deployment's pod template. Third, direct delete the pod. And the cluster admin perform the action like draining a node for repair or upgrade, draining a node from a cluster to scale the cluster down, or removing a pod from a node to prevent something else to fit on the node. Now Kubernetes provide pod disruption budget for voluntary disruption, letting you plan for how deployments or a replica set respond when voluntary disruption event occur. If you upgrade a cluster or update a deployment template, the Kubernetes scheduler will schedule extra pod on the other node before allowing a voluntary disruption event to continue. It means that scheduler will make sure that the number of pods will be available in case of any voluntary disruption. Now the scheduler wait to reboot a node until the defined number of pods are successfully scheduled on other node in the cluster. Now this PDP can define in two ways: minAvailable and maxUnavailable. MinAvailable means specified number of pod must be always be available even during a disruption, and maxUnavailable means specified number of pods can be unavailable during a disruption. Now only one of maxUnavailable or a minAvailable can be specified. Now how to create a PDB? So for that you need to first define the label selector. So you need to create a meaningful label selector in the pod. After that, you need to define the PDB YAML file where you need to define minimum replica count or a maximum disrupt replica count for the pod selected by the label selector. And third, you need to apply the PDB. So in the conclusion, by using a pod disruption budget, you can minimize the impact of disruption on your application and ensure that they remain available and reliable. And remember to always test your PDB setting and monitor your application closely to ensure that meet your availability and performance requirement. Now let's jump to the demo. So I have created two YAML pod disruption. The first is I have defined minAvailable parameter, so minAvailable equal to 3, and I am using a selected where the match label is nginx frontend. And the second pod disruption budget, so I have defined maxUnavailable equal to 2. So now here you can see the 4 parameter: API version, kind, metadata and specification. So in the kind I have defined pod disruption budget. So now let's jump to the demo. So now I have opened the lens where I have a 2 node cluster. You can quickly check here. So AKS demo, it's my Kubernetes cluster. Here I have a 2 node. Okay, one is a system mode and second is a user. So let's now first create the deployment. So let me open the lens and I am going to create a deployment and I am going to use a nginx image. Let me increase the replica count 5. Okay, and let me change the label. So my currently label is nginx. So let me open my Visual Studio and give the label name nginx frontend. Okay, and give me the name pdb and create. pdb and create. So now you can see here my nginx deployments having a 5 replicas. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now let's quickly create the pod disruption budget. So for that, let me open the YAML file and copy this YAML file here, create a resource and create. Now here you can see in the pod disruption budget, you can see this nginx pdb is created. It's in the default namespace, minimum available is 3. Okay, and the current head count is 5. Now let me do volunteer disruption activity. So what I'm going to do, here I will first check. So it's in the AKS node, AKS agent. So okay. So let me go here, and what I am going to do, I am going to drain this node. Now let's see here. Okay. Now here you can see here. So I drain the node, and you can check. So here you can check. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So all the nginx now is created in the AKS node. So let me do one thing. Let me this AKS node, let me drain this also. So now you can see here. So because of we have applied the pod disruption budget, the minimum 3 replicas is available, and the 2 are going to be terminated soon. Okay. Why? Because we have applied this pod disruption budget. So in any case, either deployment, drain, the minimum number of replica defined in this pod disruption budget should be available. Okay, now you can see 3 is there. Now let me change this YAML file, and here instead of minAvailable 3, I will go with the 1. Let's quickly check. So now here you come here and you can see now for this 2 are pending and only 1 nginx deployments are available. Similar for the maxUnavailable. So let's quickly copy this. And now what I will do here. So in my deployment file, if you see here, by default in the nginx deployment file, the replica should be 5. So it is defined 5. Now what I am going to do, I am going to create, or maybe let me change this pod disruption budget file, and instead of minAvailable, I go with maxUnavailable 1. Now you can let me give name 2. Okay, save, and now you can see here. So currently 1 is available. So let's wait. Okay. So for that, what I have to do, let me first okay, now you can see here. Let's wait. Yeah, now you can see here. So this let me filter this nginx. So now you can see here the 5 replicas are available. Okay, now let me again drain this, and you can see, let's wait. So now you can see 2 are unavailable and 3 are always available. Why? Because in the pod disruption budget we have given maxUnavailable equal to 2. So this is very simple concept, but it is very useful when you are plan to deploy or upgrade in the Kubernetes. So let's say if you plan to upgrade the Kubernetes node, or you want to drain some specific node, and where you want my number of replicas for the particular pod should always be available. At that time, you can use this concept. Thank you very much. See you in the next video.